Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about how I got accepted into an illustration agency. I'm officially with Caroline Seidler, based out of Vienna. I got accepted July or so, and I've signed all the papers. I'm not on their website right now, but I should be on their website sometime this month, September or October, and I'm super excited and happy that this finally happened, and I'm hoping that this will open some new doors for me. I always thought that my illustration career would take off by the time I was 23, but I'm 28 now, and I can honestly say that there really wasn't much happening in between when I graduated college and when I finally had something as big as this happen to me. I did do some small illustration projects here and there, nothing like major, but I always felt like kind of like a failure, I guess, because I had this expectation of myself that my career would take off at a young age in my early 20s. So I just want to start off with that by saying that if you haven't reached that part in your career yet, or you haven't reached your goals yet, or whatever that is, not to feel bad, because everyone's path looks different, everyone's timing is different. Even if you don't get accepted into an agency, even if you don't get your work published in like a major magazine or whatever, I truly believe that there are different ways to be an illustrator. I really think that you can still have a full-time job, and if you do illustration work on the side, you can still call yourself an illustrator. So there is no one path, and I'm sick of this kind of toxic career myth that in order to be a legitimate illustrator, you have to be this certain way. So now let's get into how I got accepted into this agency. First of all, kind of like as a general guideline, when it comes to pitching yourself to agencies, it's always a good idea to do a bit of homework first. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but you want to go to their website and look at the illustrators that they're already working with. If you find that they already have illustrators on board whose style is similar to yours, then maybe I wouldn't necessarily approach that particular agency, just because, first of all, that particular illustrator is not going to appreciate that they suddenly have this competition within their own agency, and secondly, I think the agency itself is not going to find a need for you. So pay attention to that. But also, if an agency isn't offering a variety of styles and there's only a certain look, a certain style that they accept, then it's probably safe to say that they might not look at your portfolio or accept your portfolio if your style is completely different. Another thing to pay attention to is the kind of companies that they work for. So, for instance, I've had agencies reject me before because I don't have a lot of advertising work in my portfolio. I'm mostly in like book and editorial. If you want to go for a particular market and the agency is not working in that market, then either you put more work in your portfolio that shows that you can work in that market, or pitch yourself to a different agency. Another thing an agency will often want to hear from you is why you want to join that particular agency. The obvious answer is that you found them and that you would like to use their leverage. Basically, you want more visibility through them, and you don't really want to take over the business side of illustration. You just want to focus on illustration. But I wouldn't necessarily mention those things because I think that's pretty obvious. So in this case, you would want to look more into what kind of clients they have worked with, and again, in what market they're most active in, and just address those kind of things. So for example, if they have worked with a particular publishing agency or a magazine that you really like, you can mention those kind of things and just say, oh, I've seen that you work with this company and I really like that company. This is also a chance for you to actually figure out if you actually want to be in that agency. So sometimes you might find an agency that hasn't actually posted anything new in like 2 or 3 years. So you might want to not apply for that. Or you might find that a particular agency works in a market that you're not really excited about. So this is also a chance for you to see if they're a right fit for you. Those are kind of like the basic guidelines for what to pay attention to when you're trying to audition, so to speak, for these different agencies. Another thing to pay attention to is obviously, first of all, if they're even taking submissions. And of course, pay attention to their submission guidelines. Some agencies prefer if you send them a PDF. Some agencies prefer if you just send them a website. Just pay really close attention. Make sure that you read their guidelines. They will notice if you just send a generic email. Now, does your email have to be super, for lack of a better wording, sucking up to them? No. Do show that you care, but at the end of the day, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Take note of every time you have sent an application to each agency, and if they don't accept you one year, then you can try again next year or try again in 6 months. Because the thing is, like, most of the time, if you apply just one time, it's likely you're not going to get accepted. Because there are so many other applicants, you're definitely not the only one applying. You kind of have to think of it as like auditioning for a TV reality show or something like that. I always try to think of it that way, because when I think of my favorite reality shows, for instance, like RuPaul's Drag Race, I always think of the drag queens who are like, I auditioned for this show so many times and I finally got on. So I try to like have that mentality as well. Now the bells are ringing. Don't just stop because one person said no. Honestly, don't take it that seriously. Just go, okay, maybe this is not the right time. Maybe my portfolio isn't good enough yet. Maybe it's not quite where it needs to be yet. Okay, so I'll just work on more personal pieces, work on refining my portfolio, yada, yada, yada. And maybe that can feel a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, kind of stepping back and just allowing myself to work on personal work and do whatever I wanted was kind of a nice experience for me. And yeah, I was able to get my portfolio to a place that is a lot more improved, a lot more cohesive, even though I don't think cohesion is as important necessarily as people say it is. I mean, some cohesion is, but it's not like, it doesn't have to be over the top. But anyway, just keep trying, just keep working on your portfolio. Don't stop at one no. And, maybe one day an agency will accept you. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I thought that my career would take off at age 23, 24, but it didn't. I had to wait all the way until I was 28. Everyone's timing is different. Also, everyone's luck is different. I think that this is something that isn't talked about enough. Yes, you have to work really hard, but also some people have certain privileges that other people don't. I'll take myself as an example. I am really, really lucky that I got the time and opportunity to actually work on my personal pieces, work on my portfolio. Some people just are luckier than others. I would really recommend that you watch this video about whether or not success is about hard work or luck. To sum it up, TLDR, it's both. And in this equation, people often overlook the fact that luck plays a really, really huge part. So again, like I said, if it doesn't work out for you that way, try not to feel too bad about yourself. And remember that you don't have to be accepted by an agency to be a legitimate illustrator, artist, whatever. Forge your own path. Illustration doesn't necessarily have to be the career that brings home the money. It can also be a very satisfying passion, hobby, side hustle if you want. Having said all of that, of course, make sure that if you do work on a commission, make sure you get paid fairly, regardless of whether or not it's your full-time career or not. I hope that this video was in some way helpful, encouraging, all of that stuff. And I wish you the best of luck on your illustration career, wherever that path might lead you, whatever the timing looks like, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Bye!